You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into...
Deny all the things I've seen, all the things I've discovered, but not for much longer. Because too many others know what's happening out there. And no one, no government agency has jurisdiction over the truth.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Eric.
And the truth shall set you free!
Off and running. Welcome everybody to another episode of To the Truth, the high-flying hit show coming across the airways every day, 5 days a week, with the Godfather, Joel D. Supernaut, and Brother Sin, Kevin Senior. Sin, it is Wednesday, and we haven't heard from you. What is going on in the world of the Sin?
We hit top 100, so I took a vacation. I thought you were doing the same, but then I see you keep pumping out these shows. I figured I had to get back home and get in the dungeon, start recording again. I thought we made it. So
I tell you, I talked about it briefly yesterday. 8 weeks ago, I didn't know anybody was listening to the show, and you told me what the numbers were 8 weeks ago, and they've more than tripled since then.
Yep.
What do you think happened? I mean, truthfully, what do you think happened? Now, I talk about, and by the way, guys, thank you. I asked you guys to share. I've been real with you. Obviously, you have shared. Somehow, we have connected somehow because, the numbers they're drastic. They're really, truthfully, they're a little bit better than what I figured we'd start with. But that audience didn't come with me, quite frankly. We've had, I would say, probably 20% of our current audience is from Chill Show. So what do you think? What do you think happened? How did we catch it right?
Well, a few things. I mean, we put out some good shows, some good lengthy ones that I got some good feedback from, people enjoyed. So that was part of it, spreading the word a little bit. And recently, I saw a huge uptick in the numbers during, very up that week, having the 5 days a row of good, solid content. We picked up a lot. And then honestly, the last week and a half hitting the charts makes a huge difference because people look at those things all the time and they'll see one they haven't listened to before and they'll just click on it and start listening. And like you said, it's resonated with some people. So we've really, in the last week and a half, picked up a ton of steam just from getting on, breaking the top 100, top 50 in the chart, just making ourselves more visible. So that has gotten us out. And really, I have marketed this thing a ton, whether it's constantly pushing the Instagram posts or the Twitter or the Facebook ads or just on our Facebook page in general. And not to mention the Facebook podcasting groups that are growing pretty big. Just a lot of ongoing marketing and pushing of the show.
I quite frankly didn't even know there was a chart. I had no idea there was so many podcasts out there. As crazy as it sounds, Chill's show, again, I know what the numbers were when I was there. It was a really, really big number. But it was just a little bit overwhelming to look at the Michigan State football field that has 110,000 people. This is how I always used to look at it and say there's more listeners to his show than can fit inside that stadium. That used to blow my mind. But I've learned more in the last week because. Yeah, again, I'm like anybody else. You put me on a list. Well, if it's not a bad list, tell me more about such list. Let me learn. There's more than one list. There's that list, and then there's another list, and we can show up on both lists, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's coming around.
I
mean, we did.
I didn't know there was.
No, go ahead.
Go on. I'm sorry.
No, to say we did jump out of the gates hot. I mean, the first two that we ever did, the full video ones, we had huge numbers. I mean, I think we pulled a lot of people over, a sizable amount. And we had really high numbers those first 2 video ones, especially the one with Randy. I mean, you put Randy's name in the show byline that he's on there, we pulled in a lot of listeners. And then unfortunately, we had a little bit of time off in there, just reformatting, figuring out where we were going. So,
I think we'll end up back. I think we'll end up back there in that format. I like that format.
I do too, because it's not out there. There's nobody doing it. I mean, Rogan films his, but it's him sitting across the table with somebody. Ariel's at a table alone with people on a screen. Nobody's doing the podcast talk show like you were doing, that kind of thing. I think it's unique.
I think there's a lot more. But again, I don't want to go from a little bit of good news to. But we started there. Yeah. In truth, we had to scale back, way back. And again, right now we won it. Right now, if we were starting this show today, and I walked in to either one of those places that we were going to film at, and I just opened up my phone and I said, "Hey, we're ranked X on iTunes," we would have had immediate respect and legitimacy, and that's just the way the world works.
Yep, absolutely.
Is it fair? Is it not fair? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it is or if it isn't. The reality is that whatever you think is real. And I can tell you one thing. Again, I did not know there was a chart that existed, and now I know more about podcast, actual how many different shows there are out there, and everything than I did a week ago. That you sent me that text. But another thing, quite frankly, whether this is fair or not, whether I'm kind of outing myself or not, I'm a lot more prepared. Okay, I'm a lot. The last 2 shows, I tell you, that show with Bob Jordan was fantastic. I've wanted to do that show for so long, and I've had so many people tell me how interesting it was and how different it was. Man, that in truth, Sin, you talk about Randy and we talk about Chael, and I like those numbers and I like this, that, and other. But again, long haul for me, what resonates from somebody like Bob Jordan is going to resonate with our crowd, with our listeners. Now, our loyal listeners that came on board early on, man, they're just going to stick with us. Yeah. It doesn't, they're going to reach out to us. They respect us because every single person that has ever contacted us, we contact back. That's something that will become more difficult, but it's a good problem to have. So yeah, I mean, I just looked at that was one of the reasons this week. I was like, well, this is what we do. Yeah. We do a podcast every day, and I'll try to spit words out for an hour. Yeah. And
I've had multiple people contact me already saying they thought the Bob Jordan was the best podcast we've had so far, released since July. I mean, people really, really like that. Like I said, multiple people messaged me with that. So
I talked about that on yesterday's podcast. That, man, there is something with the guest in the studio. Now, him and I did that at Stafford Hills Club. Right next to each other, but I had a little prep time. I prepped him. He was very, very well spoken. But again, I always thought this about Chael's guest. I mean, Chael's view is turn a podcast to him is turn on the recorder and let's start talking. I just need a topic. That's how he views it. I don't. Quite frankly, I always thought we should prep the guest so you can have a better guest.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, if you've got a guy. I mean, I'm gonna do Jake Smith. I get track of the dates. Jake Smith's gonna do one here in a couple days, and I'm really gonna prepare for it. And then I'm gonna prepare him for it, and it will make for a better guest. I don't believe the fact that, and again, people listen to me because they trust me. They don't listen to me because I say everything right. I get half the stories I tell wrong that happened in my own life. As a matter of fact, and seeing your story about, I'm famous for, I told a story about CNN and Fox News, and I sent you a text that said,
you asked me.
Hold on.
Which
I said who was pro right?
Yeah.
Anyway, you said CNN. It turns out it was I had it backwards. But I was prepared. Even though I was wrong, I was prepared. So I guess, long story short, you're gonna hear us. I'm gonna try to do a better job, just quite frankly, because I'm scared. Now I made some list, and it's not a bad list. So I'd like to stay on the good list. I'd like to climb up the good list. I like it. I like it when I'm working out in random places with my 8192 sweatshirt on, and people stop me and say, "You listen to that?" No, it's my show, and they're like, "Oh, you're the Godfather." That's cool. That's a cool feeling. I like. So I would like that. I would also, at the end of the day, like to turn this into a cash cow. So again, I can get a new, better crowd and a new, better partner, and leave all of you behind.
Of course.
You know, that's the goal for all of us. Correct?
That's been your plan since day one.
and I've been vocal about it. All right, so let's catch up with you, Sin. We wanted to catch up with Brother Sin. He hadn't taken any time off. Now, Sin, are you going to Career Day tomorrow?
Career Day, yes. Yes, I am. I have been asked to speak as an esteemed alum to the Strategic Entrepreneurial Program at my university alma mater. So I get to go shape young minds tomorrow.
Where you're going to find us. That's where you're going to find our intern at?
Absolutely. That's where I'm going to find the best, most skilled, unpaid intern that Ohio has to offer.
Okay, the word that jumped out at me, the two words that jumped out at me there was best and unpaid. Can you get us a looker? Can you a looker? And she's if you get us a looker and she's in Ohio, we'll do fine. We'll do fine. Now I'm gonna get an intern out on the West Coast too. She'll have us hemmed up in what, six days?
Yes. Oh yeah.
All right. So Sid, what else? So you sold your house.
Yeah. So finally.
You sold your house and then you moved.
So finally.
And then you bought a castle. And apparently the castle's only $250,000.
The Ohio housing prices, brother. It's the only reason anybody ever stays around this hellhole. No. But yeah, so we finally, after months on the market, and our house is damn near brand new here. We just hadn't had luck getting a buyer. So finally we get an offer, full price offer. They came right in, no haggling. But they sold their house. So the only way that they can buy ours is with a 30-day closing. No longer, no anything. It has to be, we have to be out. So, and that was from like date of offer. So we're in a crunch we have to find someplace, get all the financing, everything in line to be out and into the new one within 30 days. So we went.
Well, at the end of the day, what's important is you get out of their house.
Yes,
not
absolutely.
That you get into not that you get into a new house.
Yeah, they don't care about that. But yeah, so we went on a spree over the weekend, looked at a bunch of houses, and ended up with a beautiful, large colonial, about 3,700 square feet. Really nice upscale neighborhood, same school district, just much closer to everything. And yeah, Ohio housing, man.
Now you showed me a picture of that. It looked like there was a house, a small house, and then a hallway, and then a big house. Is that small house the Godfather's house?
That's right. It's the Godfather's quarters.
when we build this thing up, and I tear it down inch by inch, brick by brick, there will be one place for the Godfather to go. That'll be with the loyal brother Sin. After, of course, I turn on you. Okay, and then I have nowhere else to go, and I'm like, brother Sin. I bet he's got the same number. Sin, will you take me back? Oh, this is the last time, Godfather. All right.
That's right. So that's
you didn't watch the Super Bowl.
I did not. And that was the first one I haven't watched for as long as I can remember, and it was a bit of a dilemma. But with everything that had happened, for right or wrong, I took a moral stance that I didn't watch a single minute really all season because of all the crap that went on, and I just followed my dad's lead. I thought, I'm going to do this one for him. Marine, Patriot, didn't buy into all of it. He's done with it. So I said, you know what? At least for 1 year, I'm not watching a second of it. And I didn't. I watched some of the commercials after the fact online, YouTube, but didn't watch a second of the game.
You know what? I respect that. Would I have done it? No, I would have watched the Super Bowl. It's part of the fabric. But again, I do respect that. I respect that from your dad, that he just was done with the BS, because again, he's got quite frankly a generation more than I do. So he's seen a lot of things, and he's seen that sport grow from when they were showing film of the Super Bowl and other Super Bowls, and Washington, I forgot who Washington was playing. It was a Super Bowl they won. So Washington's playing somebody in one of the Super Bowls that they won. As Steinman was their quarterback, and he's getting them pumped up. And what he says is, and this is the late '70s, early '80s. One of the things that he says is, we're going to win this, and that comes with the $70,000 bonus, which again, $70,000 is a lot of money right now, but the money that the players make right now, they don't even think about the bonus they get for the Super Bowl. No. They wouldn't even know what it was. It's like Randy would say, it is mailbox money.
Yep, absolutely.
So I respect that from your dad. I respect that from other people that because again, they've lost 10% of their fan base. I guarantee 80% of that fan base is 55 and older.
Oh,
That
definitely.
they lost.
Absolutely. Yep.
Hey, I'm out. A couple things that was incredible about the Super Bowl. First off, Malcolm Butler, who was years ago when they beat Seattle, he intercepted the pass on the goal line with 3 or 4 seconds left. It cinched the game for New England. He didn't play. He played, I think, 2 snaps, and they were both on special teams. He was a starter all year, and they just made a game time decision, losing that game the way they did and getting shredded by Nick Foles. Man, you make a big case for those guys being wrong and saying Malcolm Butler should have been in the game. Nick Foles, great story on Nick Foles. This is a backup quarterback who was going to retire a year and a half ago, was talked out of retirement by Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs, ends up back in Philadelphia, which is the team that drafted him, is the Super Bowl MVP. Played tit for tat with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady, 40 years old, throws for 505 yards. I'm pretty sure that's never been done before.
Yeah, I saw that.
He is 5 and.
Yeah, I saw. They said that was the first and only time that a team has had 600 yards total offense, 3+ touchdowns, no turnovers, and didn't punt and lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was. Again, I was rooting for Philadelphia. I wouldn't have rooted for anybody, even if it was the dreaded Packers, because the Patriots have had so much success. I think it's human nature to to root against the guy that has everything, and the Patriots look like they have everything. But I don't know. I'm sure you know this. So Josh McDaniel, who is the offensive coordinator of the Patriots, took the head coaching job yesterday with the Indianapolis Colts. Today, he's with the New England Patriots, which means, to me, it means Belichick came and said, "I've got 2 years left. We're going to give you the ship, and I'm going to feather you in over the next 2 years." That's the only way that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Josh. He's from Ohio, played here locally. He was a head coach, I thought, briefly somewhere else and floundered.
I think he was the head coach for the Broncos.
Yeah. So he left New England, went to the Broncos, and was supposed to be, big time, savior. Then floundered.
He drafted Tebow.
Yes, that's correct. You're right.
He put the Tebow chain around his neck, and quite frankly, Tebow should still be in the NFL playing somewhere.
Agreed.
But I think that story will play itself out with McDaniels, whether we know it or not. And the Patriots, they're gangsters. They keep their stuff in house and to their vest. But that to me, that's what it says. That's the next coach of the New England Patriots. It was good to see LeGarrette Blount, former Oregon Duck, win another Super Bowl. He's had a great career. It's kind of flown a little bit under the radar, but he has performed with everybody he's ever played with. Now, on to our favorite topic, mixed martial arts.
Yes.
Let's talk about this weekend. The first fight. Did you see the fights?
Yes.
All right. That was that an FS1 card?
Yes.
It went on and on and on. They had too many fights. It goes on. It's just too long.
Yeah.
It's just too many fights.
Yeah, they need to keep those Fox
fan of the show, former training partner of Jake Ellenberger, Anthony Smith, won the fight of the night against Thiago Silva. That was a great fight. I tell you, I've become a fan of Anthony Smith because he's a fan of the show. But that guy is 6'4". He is still young. He's absolutely tougher than a $3 steak, which in Kankakee is prime beef. But when he figures out that range, when he figures out how to adequately use 6'4" at 185 pounds, he's going to rack a lot of shop. He came a 3-fight win streak, 3 knockouts in a row, which was his second trip in the UFC. So I feel bad that he didn't get the victory, but he didn't lose anything. That's a top tier fighter in Thiago Silva, and I thought that was a great fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're right. He didn't lose any steam. He came off with a win over Hector Lombard, and then this one, fantastic fight. Absolutely. So,
and now before we get to what we want to talk about, which is
Billy Rabbit. You talking about Billy Rabbit?
Oh wait, yeah, Billy Rabbit won. That's
right,
Billy Rabbit. I forgot. I was thinking about Billy Rabbit the whole time. He fought his guts out, and it's a good thing that Billy Rabbit got there because even though I only saw 2 corners in Tim Johnson's corner, Billy Rabbit had to be there somewhere because they raised the money, right?
Yeah, that's right. I would think he was there somewhere rolling around. But yeah, he won unanimous decision.
He's a tough old boy too. See, that's what a heavyweight wrestler looked like in my day. That's exactly. They didn't look like bodybuilders. They didn't look like Francis Ngannou. They looked like Tim Johnson, and they were very quiet and they were well behaved, unless you just gave them too much shit, and they would show you exactly why a heavyweight is the toughest man on the planet, not the 190 pounder. So good for Billy Rabbit, good for Tim Johnson. I might have been a little bit hard on. No, I wasn't too hard on Billy Rabbit. But apparently he came out and said he didn't even know about that.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that. Wow.
Yeah. He said it was done by accident. It was embarrassing to him, and it should have been. Quite frankly, it should have been. So good for him, and good for him backtracking into that so he gets another fight. Now, before we get... Now, again, thanks for bringing that back to me. Before we get to Valentin Shevchenko and Priscilla Kochera,
yep.
I thought I thought Eric Anders won that fight quite handily, and I thought that was the closest thing we've seen to a Tennessee screw job in the last 3 or 4 months. Except apparently Tim Means got jobbed on the card too.
Yeah. Both of them were pretty glaring, but yeah, boy, couldn't pull it off, and Machida in Brazil, you kind of expect that, Brazilian, but
oh man, I tell you, yeah boy. So Eric Anders has a nickname that is Yeah Boy, and it's Yeah Boy Eric Anders, or is it Eric Yeah Boy Anders?
Good question.
Because the way they were, either way, he goes to the top of the list for worst nicknames.
Yep.
With, I don't know if you've seen there's a fighter called the Cuban Missile Crisis.
No, I have not seen that one. That's great, though.
Yeah, he's called the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's really, really bad. We had Beastie 25-8. I think he's called Overtime now. So Beastie 25-8. Who was Beastie 25-8, lad?
Corey Anderson.
And now is he Overtime?
Yeah, and Jake's nickname.
Okay, yeah. And so now the guest on the show either tomorrow or the next day, who again goes right to the top of the list, Jake the Half Black Attack Smith.
Half Black Attack?
He's the Half Black Attack. His dad's a white boy. His mother was black. So he came up with the Half Black Attack, which it's bad, man. I don't know if it wins the bad. I mean, it's kind of like if your girlfriend is in the ugly girlfriend competition. It doesn't matter if she wins the ugly girlfriend competition. It matters that she was in it, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
So we got Yeah Boy getting the Tennessee screw job. I thought it was clearly 4 rounds to 1 for Yeah Boy, maybe 3 to 2, but the clinching judge had it. He had it 4 to 1 for Machida. So
they were just in Brazil and they were biased. So
all right, lad, let's act like I'm doing this show, and you're not sitting right next to me. So yes, they were very biased. But frankly, why even have judges if you're not going to be fair? If it's going to be that slighted, you can't. Nobody can make a case for 4 rounds to 1 for Machida unless you're just saying, yeah, we're giving him 2 rounds because he's in Brazil.
Yep.
So
completely agree.
Yeah, boy.
And then we had the Yamasaki screw job again.
Well, I was saving that for last because there's just so much there. Yamasaki has shown himself to be incompetent.
How does he keep getting hired to ref the fights? Because Dana makes it act like he has no part of it and has repeatedly asked for him not to be used. How does he keep getting chosen for fights?
Well, I imagine that's part of it. Now, I know the referees don't have a union. They don't have, but from what I understand, it's a relatively decent paying job.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's making $1,000 to $1,500 a fight. If he's in the main event, maybe it's a little bit more. And if he does 2 or 3 fights on the card, a guy can pick up $4,000. You keep the guy busy. He's living in a suitcase, but he's making $150,000 a year. As incompetent as Yamasaki is at refereeing a goddamn fist fight, which it doesn't take a brain surgeon to referee a fist fight, as incompetent as he is at that, I couldn't imagine his skill set doing well in society. So you know, I don't get it. He's done this over and over and over again, and only in mixed martial arts we think this sport's so big, and it's not. We love talking about it. We got a broader audience, so we can't talk about it every day. But it's not that big. It's not that big, and the reason we know it's not that big is what other sport on earth does a referee come out and talk to the public after an event? Never. It never ever happens. So in this little bubble of mixed martial arts that we live at, that we work at, Yamasaki comes out a interview. He's letting her show the hit her. She got hit 230 times.
Yeah.
Not in the first round. Should have been stopped a couple times in the second round. Not only all of that, don't forget, he missed the first tap. After this girl got bludgeoned, Valentina Shevchenko had to choke her out for her to tap. Once she does, once the ref won't protect her, her corner won't protect her, she taps, and the ref still doesn't stop her. He finally stops her the second tap, and he admitted to that. He is so stupid. He admitted to taking incompetence. We thought 230 strikes against one was bad enough. He takes it to the next level. He can't even find out. He can't even stop the fight when the girl's tapping out.
Yeah, because he's letting her be a warrior. It's so.
And go on, Sam. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
And so Priscilla's corner agrees with it. Said no, we would never throw a towel in. That's not something we do. That's coming from somebody that's never fought in a cage before. I guarantee whatever idiot she had in her corner, whatever little dive MMA gym that he has somewhere, where he's talking about how tough they are and how we'll die in the cage before we ever give up. I can almost assure you that guy's never fought before. Had he fought before, he would have thrown in the towel. That's an embarrassment. It needs to be adjusted. If your corner man is going to let you die, if he's going to sign a piece of paper, because corners have to be licensed. You have to go through a licensing process to be a corner man. Maybe not in Brazil, but in the United States. If a corner man will write down, I will let my fighter die in the cage rather than throw in a towel, that person needs to be banished from the sport, because it's not a blood sport. It is a sporting event. Yeah, it's a brutal sporting event. Absolutely it is. But if it's 81-92 and I'm getting down at Curdy B's house with the kegger and somebody is putting the wood to me and I got it coming, somebody's going to stop that fight. Somebody is going to stop that fight because they don't want to see me murdered. That's the exact same thing that was going on that night.
Yeah.
Is that girl was being murdered. That's what was going on. We were watching a straight murder job. And Yamasaki not only was so incompetent and ignorant to stop the fight in the first round or the first time he had a chance in the second round, he comes on when they stick a microphone in front of his stupid face, and I should hit him 230 times. I should be able to hit Yamasaki 230 times just so I can show him what a goddamn warrior he is. They put a microphone in front of his face, and he says, I was letting her be the warrior within or some bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as you said, 230 strikes to 3. 230 to 3. 5 rounds, 3 total strikes. It's going to come to the point where they keep putting him in there and somebody's going to get killed or something severe before he needs to be barred. Plain and simple. You can't do that.
Yeah, he didn't. You know, I hate to take a livelihood away from a guy, but that's a guy that should not be in that.
Yeah,
in that.
absolutely.
And then he's not the only one. There's some really, really bad refs. There's some really, really bad judges. Whoever scored that 4-1 for Machida, that guy should lose his license. There has to be some kind of accountability.
Yeah.
And the problem is there isn't. There's nobody overseeing the overseers.
No, and Chael mentioned that, and Rogan and everybody else, that until they set a separate standard, separate scoring system for judging, to where they're not just bringing over boxing judges and people that have no experience in MMA, we're going to see this. It's constant. You're right. There's nobody overseeing it. There's no oversight. I mean, look at the Adelaide Bird, some of those other fights. There's nobody penalizing, no jurisdiction, there's no anything. So
and this this guy, yeah boy, he loses half of his income.
Yep.
He loses half of his income. He went over to Brazil. I'm sure. He's main eventing, but this is his third UFC fight.
Yeah.
He comes home with very little to show for this. Very, very little to show for this.
Yeah. Yeah, and when they took away sponsorship money, it became a much, much bigger deal.
Boy is a top 10 fighter. See, I can assure you that Machida isn't anymore.
No.
It's a fight style. It's a style that was based on precision and quickness, and we're talking a split second on both. That's gone now. He does not have that, and his chin's gone. So,
yep.
I like Machida. I like Machida saying, "Hey, let's go fight Bisping." But quite frankly, I don't want to see another Machida fight at all.
No.
I hardly wanted to. When Machida was in his prime, I hardly wanted to see a Machida fight. Now that he's past the red cone, I'm not looking for that, and I'm surely not looking for Michael Bisping to go dance around with him and try to catch him for 5 rounds.
No,
I do think Bisping would probably knock him out.
Yeah. Machida he's the equivalent to an RG3. Something completely different, unique coming out, but it took 1 fight, maybe 2, and then everybody figured it out. Like RG3. Had 1 season where he tore up the league in the NFL, and then everybody figured exactly out how to stop him, and he was worthless. So that's kind of the way Machida's style was. It was something unique that was, cool for a minute.
Worthless is a strong word. I mean, Robert Griffin.
He's worthless. He was a bum. I lived in D.C. when he came out of school, and everybody down there was promoting him as the savior and how he was better than Andrew Luck and he should have been the number 1 pick, and it was ridiculous. And quickly they saw that he was a one-trick pony that amounted to nothing.
You should really tell us how you feel about RJ3. I don't think you should temper it.
So we got another card coming up this weekend. We got a pay-per-view.
We got a pay-per-view this weekend?
Yeah, 221. Romero Rockhold. Supposed to be Rockhold.
Yeah.
Supposed to be Rockhold Whitaker.
Hunt and Blades. We got Hunt and Blades. And Lad's trying to swagger jack in on the show. But I needed that. Thank you, Lad. We got Hunt and Blades, and we've got Romero against not Whitaker, but Rockhold.
Rockhold, yes.
Who do you got in the Hunt and Blades fight?
Oh, I got Hunt. Blades is not bad. He's on the rise. I don't know. Hunt can take a punch, man. He can stand.
We need to see Hunt win, and give him a shot at the title. Give Hunt a shot at the title, because he'll get beat, but it'll be entertaining.
Yes,
and then we need old boy. Who's the other guy we like? The Beast. We need the Beast to win, and for him to get a shot, because quite frankly, after nobody beats the Stipe beats DC, he's got a long run to go.
Yep.
He has a long run to go, and I'd love to see Hunt get a shot. I'd love to see Derek get a shot.
I want to see Derek and Ngannou go at it. That's the fight I want to see next. Those two.
Yeah, Ngannou's taking some time off, man. Ngannou, that shield of invincibility got rim-wrecked. So I would be surprised if we ever see him in another title fight.
So
that's a pay-per-view? Yeah. We got to pay for that?
Yeah, the next two were kind of slim pickings. The next pay-per-view after that fell apart, too. They're still trying to piece together. But yeah.
That's with Hawk. Now, what sucks about that is that's the second time they tried to make that fight.
Yep.
But Frankie's like, hey, I'm fighting somebody.
Yeah, Frankie came on and said, I don't care what weight class, I don't care what fighter, let's just fight. So
yeah, Frankie's probably one of those guys that's pretty conservative with his money. He's looking at, how many paychecks he's got left, and he's not missing one. So, somebody needs to show up. I need to get paid. They were talking about, they were trying to get the rumor out there that Dillashaw was going to fight Cody. Boy, that fight didn't make a lot of sense to me if you're TJ Dillashaw. What's the rumor on that? Are they trying to put that together?
No, UFC came out, or somebody came out, probably Ariel, and said that was in the works. That was going to be the replacement. And TJ came out and just flat out said, no way. One, I've just had a baby. He's 1 month old. I'm not going to take a title fight, a rematch on 6 weeks' notice. And then he also said that he'd been saying the whole time that Garbrandt did not deserve an immediate rematch. He won the title, never defended it. That's not how it works. Go out, beat somebody else, earn your spot, then come back. So
okay, so somebody took again, since we don't have any real reporting at all or accountability in mixed martial arts.
Exactly.
Somebody just ran to the press and said,
"This is in the works." Yep.
Hey, yeah, it's this fight. Okay, good, because that I heard that rumor and I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
And then they went back and forth, and Garbrandt trying to goad Dillashaw into it, blasting him on social media and all the nonsense. And TJ just flat out said, "No, it's not happening. I'm not doing it." He wants the DJ fight. So it sounds like they're much closer to getting that done. So.
Who's even?
Hello. And we lost Brother Joel. He dropped his call. Lost you there.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, your Skype.
So, where were we at?
I had just mentioned that I thought seems like they're much closer to signing the Dillashaw Mighty Mouse fight, but that this Garbrandt thing is not happening.
That's a fight to make. So who do you put in there? Who do you put in there? They were talking about, the rumor again. I don't know where they come from. You're just like me. We read something and we automatically think there's something there, and then the UFC comes out, whether they're being truthful or not, says, "Hey, there's nothing there." With Nate Diaz fighting, but you'd have to have a hole in your head to be Nate Diaz and to fight anybody, because if Nate comes back and gets beat, doesn't that take away
the Conor fight's off the table? Yeah, fight? Absolutely. Yeah, and Dana came out and said that no way Nate is not on the card. That's not happening. But yeah, they came out and said there's no other headliner or title holder that is available to save that pay-per-view. So I had heard that they may even just pull it from pay-per-view status and just make it a Fight Pass card.
Oh boy, I could see that too. Here I am. Lads, I've paid for every single pay-per-view since when, lad?
Since I first started becoming a fan 3+ years ago.
Yeah, so 3.5 years I've been paying for every one of those because Lad likes it. And I got to pay for one this weekend, and I'm not very excited about it. I'm not very excited about paying $70 for 2 fights.
For 2 fights, yeah. Nothing else on that card.
Well, nothing that we know because again, there's no reporting in this sport. Everybody is so greedy and so top heavy in the sport all the way around that the only time we hear about somebody is after they've become somebody. There's plenty of people on that card that we don't know about, and the reason we don't know about is because the 3 or 4 rags that we read don't do anything except report the sport that is getting reported to them by the fighters.
Yep.
There's nothing going on. There is nobody going out there and talking about a guy like Jake Smith, talking about a guy like Mike Perry, talking about all the other, Ricky Simone. We're going to find out why it's Simone or Simon here in a day. But there's killers all over the place that we don't know about. And the reason we don't know about is because we need to hear about the stars that are going on right now. Which is, I want to hear something different. I want to know something different. I want a different story. And I guess I'm going to have to create that different story.
Yes,
because nobody else is. And
No.
I've been saying the same thing for years and years and years, and it doesn't get better, it gets worse.
Yep.
Your boy, Ariel, Pony Boy, okay, you know what that guy does? Because he has the opportunity to do it, he waits until the weekend show. And then the stars of that show, he calls. Hey Ariel, why don't you get your guest list in Monday before the fight there, Jack? Then maybe you'll start reporting a little bit differently. You talk for 6 goddamn hours on Monday. Maybe you
Yeah, and
every way you want. Oh, you got me fooled. You were a reporter when you started in this thing. You haven't been a reporter since years ago. You should probably work for the equivalent of the National Enquirer, which is actually what you do, which is MMA fighting.
Yep. And everything it burns me to know it. Everything he ever posts on Twitter, every story, it's always at the bottom, as first reported by, and it's somebody else. The guy does nothing. Somebody tells him something, he reposts it. Somebody tells him something, he retweets it.
He was one of the first legitimate journalists on site when this sport was growing, and he got the inside track to a very, very small business, which is a bunch of small, average, everyday people that give him information, and it irritates me to no end that, for instance, if Thiago Silva spoke English, he would have been on Monday's show, but he doesn't. And Anthony Smith lost. Well, he should have had Anthony Smith on anyway. That's just how MMA reporting goes. There is no true journalist. It's just somebody with a camera. It's no different than back in the day at the dealership when some nerd would roll in with a camera and a microphone, and since nobody cared about the sport, the guys had talked to him, So anyway, I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but I feel a little bit better.
That's the important thing.
Okay, I got a couple takes. So Floyd Mayweather shows up at the Super Bowl looking like Clyde the Glide Frazier in 1970. He dressed like a pimp. He looked like a pimp from 1976.
You mean Walt Frazier?
It looked like he went into his closet and had a workshop of people that says, what will make me look the dumbest? And they all got together and they found that coat, and he put it on with a stupid hat, and he says, you know what? I'm this stupid.
I'm sorry I missed that now.
Yeah, you should have watched it. Anyway, so there's the rumors about Mayweather fighting Conor in the cage. That's not a rumor. It'll never happen.
No.
The world that we live in is everybody's trying to get a click, whether it be online or us. We want to click. We want to make that list.
We want lots of clicks. No, he only did that. He did that stupid little video stunt walking the cage because he was trying to take some heat, some shine off of the announcement of the Triple G Canelo rematch. That was the only reason he did that. He wanted to steal some spotlight from that announcement.
Well, it's just like Conor, man. Conor's the ex-girlfriend that won't shut up. I mean, Conor doesn't let he hasn't fought in over a year. He's nowhere near fighting. He's taken more out of the sport than he could ever give back. And now, anytime there's a fight, again, he had two championships. But buddy, when you don't defend those championships, you still get to keep the championship, but you're not the champion anymore. So he throws some stones at Holloway because Holloway has to pull out. It's like, Conor, listen, if
Yep.
Get to the gym, come back and get your applause, because man, it's played out. It's played out.
Absolutely agree.
All right, man. I tell you, Sin. That's all I got, guy.
Oh, I'm cutting out again. All right, guys.
Set up right now.
All right, cool. So later on this week, we're gonna have an episode with Jake Smith, and then Lad and I are going to do a show. The Lad came to me and said he wants to talk about his life going through the autism spectrum, and I think that's a great topic. Other than that, Sin, sew this bad puppy up. Peace.
You got it. All right, guys, you heard it there from the Godfather. We got some good stuff coming up. Some good shows, some good content. Had a little bit of audio trouble there, in and out, so I do apologize about that, but we'll make it right for you. So we got a card coming up this weekend. We'll probably talk about that a little more. Rockhold Romero. I'm gonna go with Rockhold. He's got a little better range. He's got a fantastic top game. Romero's wrestling style is not conducive to on-the-ground control. He's great with the takedowns, getting people down, but he's not good with holding people and dominating on the ground. And Rockhold has a very smothering top game. Rockhold's taller. He's got the range. I think he's hungry to get back in that title fight. I got Rockhold all the way on that one. But we will talk about that more. And again, we've got some good stuff coming up. I thank all of you for your continued downloads, your listenership. I do ask that even if you listen and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to us on iTunes. Subscribe, rate our show, leave a review. Even if you don't have a review, just hit the 5 stars and be done. But please subscribe, rate, and review. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody you know, tell your boy. Subscribe, rate, and review to 8192 The Truth. We've gotten on the rankings. We've really picked up some steam. And that's all because of you guys. And we only want to grow more so we can do more cool stuff, bring you more content. The website will be done soon. We're going to have the video content. It's going to be something special. So please help us out with that. Subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. And if you don't have iTunes, if you don't have an Apple phone, I understand, but download us from whatever platform you listen to and try and leave us a review wherever you can. Much appreciated. Again, we've got our sponsors, Amazon. Follow our link on the Facebook page. Click on the link. You do any shopping, just sends a little bit of love back our way, and we do appreciate it. Right now, if you go to our On It link on the Facebook page, and I will highlight it again tonight so you can all find it readily, go through our link. Anything you can buy on it, any supplement, any food, if you go through our link and you use the code GETONIT, GETONNIT. Get 10% off any of their formulas, any of their supplements, any of their food. All you have to do is go through our link and use the code GETONIT. I don't know how long this deal is going to last for our listeners, but right now it's 10% off. GETONNIT. Use the code GETONIT at checkout. Save yourself 10% on any supplement or food or nutritional compound. So take advantage. We appreciate it. And as always, one of our first sponsors right from the beginning, audibletrial.com/8192 The Truth. Guys, there is 180,000 titles available for download. Get your first one absolutely free on us, gratis, on the arm, absolutely free. Cost you nothing. 8192 The Truth. audibletrial.com/8192 The Truth. Check it out. Get your first book download for free. Send me a message. Tell me what you downloaded. Let me know if it was any good or if it was a piece of shite. All right, guys. For The Godfather, this is Brother Sin. We'll be back soon. Do what?